Hello, I'm Sammy Hexter Andrews, and I'm interviewing Fiona Hooper, who is our Artist of the Month on the Bloomz for the whole of October. Good afternoon, Fiona. How are you?
I'm very well, Sammy. Thank you very much. And how are you?
I'm very good, thank you. Excited to hear about all that you've got to say about your phenomenal artwork that we can see on display behind you. So before we start, could we just have a little bit of your backstory, how you got involved with art and especially creating the beautiful original artwork that you do create?
Thank you. I know it sounds a little bit cheesy, but I don't remember not being artistic and drawing, painting, creating. I used to make all sorts of weird and wonderful things as a child. I'm not sure any of them were particularly useful or beautiful, but I just have this urge to create. And then, there have been times in my life when it's been a bit busy for painting and things, but I've still carried on doing something most of the
Mm.
time. And then probably over the last 25, 30 years, that must be nearly all my life, I have been painting a lot more seriously and trying to improve and develop my work and try different avenues, different subjects, different mediums. But now it definitely is oils that are my favorite medium, and both of these paintings are in oils. And my my preferred way of working now is to use knives, not kitchen knives, I hasten to add, might not do the canvas much good, but painting knives, palette knives, and it just with the oil paint as well, it moves the paint around. It can sort of blend the colors without making them too homogenized. It leaves
Mhm.
it more interesting, more energy, and it just seems to suit the way that I work. So these two paintings here, both done in oils with knives, and this one, get the right one, is actually on gold leaf as well.
Mm.
So cover the canvas with the gold leaf to start with, and then paint on, or seal it, and then paint on top of it. So
It's just so
um,
beautiful with I mean, both the paintings are beautiful, but with the gold leaf, it just adds that's something really special. And
mm,
even though our viewers can see the painting now, but to actually see it in real life is something else. It really is stunning.
thank you, thank you. Yes, it to me it gives it a real richness and depth, and it just glints through. Sometimes in some paintings, like this one, the sky is mainly left as the gold leaf, and some bits just down in the foreground here. Whereas others, I may cover more of the gold leaf and just leave little bits. And in fact, today I've just started a new work, which
Mm.
was preparing the canvas with some gold leaf, which means putting down an adhesive, applying the gold leaf, brushing off all, once that's all down, then brushing off all the excess little bits around it, which means that you get gold leaf everywhere. It's sort of in your hair. If you see anything glinting, it's probably just bits of gold leaf that were being brushed off. It gets, sort of in your ears, everywhere.
So did you come out of the studio looking like Tinkerbell?
Not sure I could ever look like Tinkerbell, but yeah, no, I actually do that outside. It's the easiest place to do it, and I think just some little bits of metal in the garden are not going to hurt. If you do it in the house, you'll find it everywhere, literally. It seems because it's so light. And this is a little canvas board that I did this morning as well, and you can see the real shine and the glow on
Mm.
that. So that's all ready to be painted on, but the other painting is somewhat bigger than that, and it's going to be a bit of a surprise. So keep
Oh,
watching,
look forward
folks,
to
and
that
you'll
one.
see it. Yeah, and I've done a little bit of video about actually putting the gold leaf on the canvas as well. So we'll be able to post that in due course as well, sometime
Oh,
during this
excellent.
month.
Yeah. So, when you were at school at sixth form, did you ever feel like actually I want to go straight into the art world, or did you have to have a sensible head on, like lots of us had to?
Unfortunately, the sensible head was pretty much required at the time. I obviously I wanted to get out there and be able to support myself. And yes, looking back, it would have been lovely to go to art college, but on the other hand, I've enjoyed what I do. I feel as well that I'm not constrained by learning in a particular way, that I try different things. And having said that, I've seen a lot of other artists do demonstrations. I've read a lot, I've watched videos, DVDs, and I think you can pick up so much if you're open to it and absorb things from all around you, other artists, things on television, and take what works for you. And then, and leave the rest to one side, because if it doesn't suit you, that's fine. So I think I've benefited from basically being an artist sponge by absorbing as much information as I can and then using what I want to of it. So
Absolutely.
it
Do you
and
think
I
like
don't think
you
for me
have more
anyway.
freedom? You have more freedom because not having that the formality of art school. I mean, every learning situation does have its place. I
Hmm.
mean, if I could go to art school now, I would, because I'd want to learn more and more. But like you say, we're doing that anyway. You're doing that anyway.
Hmm.
And as being in this art collective, we're learning a lot from each other. And
Absolutely.
do you feel that all your past experiences, you're able to use that within the artwork that you're creating, whether it's past travels or past emotions that you can actually channel into your work?
Definitely, definitely. You say about going to art school now, I think that would be fantastic. And I think it'd be the right time for me to do it, because I've got to where I am. Okay, now I want to, go that much further. But with the experience and knowledge that I've already got. So I don't have to spend the time, okay, what is an oil paint? How do you
Mm,
actually use the paint? I've
mm,
sort of got to that level. So that would be fantastic. But yes, life experiences, I know you find this with your work, but it all feeds into my art. I'm a
mm,
big nature lover. I love going for walks in forests and woods, and just seeing all these beautiful places, whether that's here in the UK or abroad. A lot of my travels have provided lots of inspiration for paintings. And it's trying to capture some of that and convey it in my paintings to, just to help other people appreciate the beauty of art as well, mate, of nature as well. And
mm,
if by doing that I can in any way raise people's awareness of what we do have and how fragile it is and how it
mm,
needs to be looked after, and how we all need to try and do all that we can to preserve this planet, which is in a bit of a, bit of a state at the moment by the seams of it. Then, you know, every little thing that we can do must help in that respect. And if my paintings can help in any way whatsoever,
mm,
that's absolutely wonderful. But, also to hopefully bring joy to people, and, maybe have a little bit of nature in their home on their wall that helps them to relax, maybe feel they can walk into the painting and relax in that wonderful environment where you stop, you listen, bird song, maybe some leaves rustling, some water trickling, waves
mm.
lapping on the shore, and that peace and tranquility that nature can bring to us all. So if I can do that, I'll be very happy. So
Well, I definitely know that you are doing that. I saw your work at the Surrey Contemporary Art Fair, and each piece, for me, when I'm looking at it, is actually gives me breathing space. It gives me space to breathe and space to settle. And with that in mind, when you're putting your composition together, are they always from places you've visited, or do you sometimes amalgamate different sketches you've done to create your ideal vision for that moment in time?
absolutely, yes. if it was a commission to paint a particular place, then obviously it needs to look like that particular place. But generally with these paintings here, for example, especially the trees and the mountains here, the mountains came from one place and the trees and that came from another place, because they just work better together than the actual scene that I'd sketched and photographed. So the bigger ones like this, I do work on here in the studio at home. Rather than, if I'm painting outside, it tends to be sort of 10 by 12 inches sort of size or less, simply because of practicalities and carrying huge wet canvases around with me. So I know some people manage it, and but with everything else, it's just, I think I like to keep small and immediate working outside. But I try to go back to that place in my mind when I start the painting, when I'm deciding on what I want to include or leave out, and to feel the way I felt when I was there, to feel the breeze on my face, to feel the temperature that it was. It might have been a bit nippy like it is mornings nowadays at the moment. It might have been gorgeous sunshine. There could have been different sound of running water, and just try to remember and experience again all of those sounds, sights, feelings, and try to therefore include some of that somehow in the paint. If I could have soundo paint and smello paint, it'd be brilliant, that people could then hear what I could hear at that place, or and smell the things, the scent of pine needles, or the freshness of the salty air at the coast, but we don't have smello paint yet, but one day.
So when you're working in your studio, do you have music going? Do you have talk radio on? What do you have going on while you're working?
I sometimes have music. It depends on my mood. It really does depend. Sometimes I get to the end of a painting session and I think, I didn't put my music on again, but I don't notice even that it's not there, because I'm so involved in thinking about the painting and where I want it to go, and sometimes letting the painting tell me where it wants to go. I may have I may have one idea for it, but as it progresses, it takes another path. It doesn't always end up exactly as I saw it in my mind's eye to start with. But I think we need to be open to things like that when we're painting, because it's what the painting's saying it needs, and that's what I generally go with. But yeah, so I do sometimes listen to music, but not always. So
do you find that some of uh, viewers of art get a little bit confused when we say the painting's talking to us, and we're following the painting's lead? Do you feel that people think, blimey, she's a bit wacko, I'm gonna stay clear of her? Or do you think they actually do get an understanding when you're describing more about the emotions within that work? Because I know when I think I was at sixth form, and I remember a lecturer coming in and saying, you've got to let the painting talk to you. And I'm going, okay.
So we have soundo paint, smello paint, and talking paint. Okay. Yeah, I guess if you haven't been there, you may not fully understand what it's like when you're thinking, I'm going to paint this bit here and these colors, this tone, and as you progress you think, actually no, it needs something else. It needs me to adjust the way that I was thinking for that painting. But I think, as long as we can try and explain it, then people will understand it. It's not a difficult concept. It's not really woo woo. It's quite, it's reevaluating where you are with the painting, I think, as much, obviously the painting doesn't actually sit there and talk to me. In that case, I think they quite rightly think I was a bit wacky, but maybe they do anyway. But I think it is how we put that over, and that we reevaluate as we go through, depending on what's happening in the painting.
Now, with your beautiful artwork, I know, and a lot of your followers know, that you write beautiful poetry. Can you tell us a little bit about how that came about?
Okay, well, thank you for the compliment, by the way. Um, I was doing, as you know, you were involved as well. I was doing an online art marketing course and met so many wonderful artists through that, including all of the Bloomz artists, which is just an amazing group of extremely supportive and encouraging artists all working together. And one of the challenges at one point was to do a weekly show. And the show was to be on a particular theme going forwards. And I was searching around what to do, and I had various ideas. And I thought, well, they'd be okay for 1 or 2 weeks, and then I'd be a bit stumped. So I came up with the idea of the poetry of painting, because to me, painting is like poetry. Hopefully it will speak to the people, the right people for the right painting. It will affect them and make them think or resonate with them in some way, which is like poetry. So I started the show, and I started by talking about poetry and art, and found some poems about art or about artists. I did one show about music and song. Most song is poetry set to music, and found so many songs that are about painting or a painting or an artist, about matchstick men and matchstick cats and dogs, for example, but just so many. And then I came up with the idea, well, okay, maybe I'll write a poem myself, and hopefully it will be reasonably well received. And so I did that about one of my paintings, and then came up with this, what I thought was a brainwave, and it does seem to have worked really well, of inviting a guest poet onto my show. And they and myself would both write a poem about a specific painting that we would agree on in advance. And so you get 2 completely different views in poetry of a painting. And from their point of view, we didn't discuss the painting beforehand, so it was all completely their reaction to the painting that was sparking this poetry. So with only about, I think I've had about 4 or 5 weeks in total when I didn't do a show, going back quite a way now. So this week, I just did the 77th show. So
a brilliant show it was.
Thank you very much, with Ros Ottery, who was fantastic. Her poem was sublime, wonderful. I never thought it would carry on this long, but it's been great fun. So not only have I made lots of artist friends, but I've made lots of poet friends now as well. And I've learned so much about poetry as well. So it's expanded my thinking and my universe as well, which is great.
So what day and time is the show on, Fiona?
Each Wednesday, 7 o'clock UK time in the evening, 7 p.m, 1900 hours.
And that's on Facebook?
On Facebook, on my personal page on Facebook, not my business page, so just Fiona Hooper. I could put the link in afterwards if you like. So yes, it's generally about half an hour, which gives us enough time for the poet to read the poem, because I'm not writing my own poems at the moment, just because of everything else that's going on. And then we can discuss it and the painting and what it said to them and how they came up with the poem and what's going on in their world, my world, putting the country to rights and everything else. Lots of all different topics.
And you have such a wide range of poets, from the young lad, I've forgotten his name. Oscar.
Yeah.
Who only started writing poetry during lockdown, to quite seasonal poets, but it's all very different. But
from different continents as well, America, Australia, UK, including Scotland. So all over. Yeah.
Yeah, but what I love about it is, like you say, when you both were doing the poems were very different, but
Mm.
it's the artwork, and then it's like the artwork when they're saying the poetry, you're thinking, absolutely, that is what the artwork is saying. That is the story the artwork's telling. But also it gives you space to enable you to continue that narrative and create your own story as you're walking through that piece, which I think with your work every piece you put us on a journey. You're always taking us, leading us through that piece of art, which is I just find that absolutely amazing that you have that skill and that quality to be able to do that, to take us on that journey. Because no matter what time of day or what type of day I'm having as the viewer, if I go to look at your work, it can transport me to somewhere which is so much better, either calming or uplifting, or so many emotions that your work produces.
Oh,
Because
that's wonderful. Thank
even
you.
even though your work is the landscape, each landscape is different, and they're telling something else. Which, as the viewer, that's what I love and I enjoy.
That's so wonderful,
So
because that's exactly what I want them to do, is to have that impact on people. Thank you.
so we can see your artwork on your Instagram page, on your Facebook page, and on your website, which I will put all the links on after the video. They can also come and see you in person at Kingston.
Yes, every other
So
Saturday.
every other
Dates on my
Saturday
website.
by the bank.
Yes, yeah, outside Barclays Bank in Kingston, in the pedestrian area there.
Now, I'm not saying that you rooted yourself there on purpose right by the cash point, but it's a good sales pitch.
Absolutely, very handy. Absolutely, yeah. But
Can
actually, most people pay by card now anyway. So yeah.
can I ask about your book that I know is in the process? Can you tell us a little bit about your book?
Yes, well, this was born out of the poetry shows, and sadly, it's had a bit of a delay at the moment because really sadly, the publisher that I was using has had some serious health issues. She's okay, but she's not been able to continue with the book at the moment. So it's not going to die. It will happen. I just need to find a new publisher and get that happening. And it's a book of, from memory, I think it was 41 paintings.
Hmm.
And for each painting, there is a poem by my guest poet and one by myself. So you've actually got the painting there in the book with the two poems to read and compare, and also to read alongside the painting as well. So, and it's been absolutely fabulous working with the poets that have been involved, and they're all excited about it as well. So it's going to happen, but sadly not quite as quickly as I'd have hoped.
Mm,
But we'll get there. We'll get there. Now that the art fair's out of the way, I
yes.
can actually start to focus on that again now, which had to just take a back seat for a couple of weeks because of the fair and getting everything ready for that. So yeah,
Mhm. But what people are able to do, they're able to purchase your artwork from your website, to
yes.
contact you and come and view your work at Kingston or online. So the work is there available for them. Um,
Or contact me if they would like to come to my studio to see work as well, make an appointment.
Fabulous. Excellent. So when we're looking at Artist of the Month, you've got the whole month. You're taking over Facebook, you're taking over Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube. It's all going to be there, all on the Bloomz pages. What are we going to see from you, Fiona?
Well, obviously some paintings, different paintings to give people an idea of what I do. But I've also got some videos about showing how I paint. Some of them are, a long span of painting, but really condensed into very short time frame so that you can see a painting happening from the start through to the very end without having to literally sit and watch paint dry. All sorts of videos. I may mention my portrait work as well. I do portraits of animals and people to commission as well. So maybe some of that. Some information about my processes. As I said, the gold leafing that I was doing this morning, I've done some video of that if people are interested to see how that works. Generally trying to keep it as interesting as I can. So, and if anybody's
will we have any of your poetry alongside?
You can do if you'd like some. Absolutely.
I'm just throwing it out there that I'd like to listen and see the artwork alongside the poetry, but you know, that's just me.
Right. So it could be me reading the poems with the paintings on screen. Yes, that's a good idea too.
And what about the knife throwing? Is that going to make an appearance or not yet?
Might damage the knives if I throw them too hard. So we'll leave the knife throwing. So yeah.
All right. Are you ready for your quick fire questions?
Yes. I was just going to mention that if people want to see a calendar,
I forgot about that.
They come nicely wrapped if you want to gift one to anybody, and they've got including the front cover 13 of my paintings in them, so you get a painting each month and you get
I recognize that painting.
You know that one. And then you get your space for putting all your appointments in as well. So if anybody would like a calendar, they're £12 each plus postage, and just let me know. Just drop me a message and be very happy to sort that out for you.
Excellent.
Oh, sorry, your quick fire questions.
Okay, yeah, you've got to be very quick now.
Okay.
First one, portraits or landscapes?
Landscapes.
Beach or countryside?
Oh, tricky. Countryside.
Favorite color?
Purple.
Family dinner or dinner with friends?
Friends. Can't choose your family.
Summer or winter to paint?
Summer.
Favorite cocktail?
Oh, I don't know. I don't normally. Oh, yes, a Savoy 90.
Oh, very nice. Last film you watched made you wobbly?
They make you very wobbly, yes. Savoy 90s. Yes. Last film, went to see Top Gun Maverick.
Did you enjoy it?
We did. Fantastic.
I thought it was brilliant.
Absolutely.
I really loved it.
In a cinema where it goes all the way around as well. Magic.
Knives or brushes?
Knives.
Canaletto's Grand Canal or Constable's Haywain?
Canaletto.
And what advice would you give to your younger self?
Just do what makes you happy without hurting anybody else in the process, and go for it. You know, don't be put off by people saying you can't do that, you shouldn't do that. Just plow your own furrow in a nice way and be focused, and just do it. Basically, just do it, whatever it is. If it's painting, poetry, athletics, sport, whatever you want to do it.
Excellent. Fiona, thank you so much for your time this afternoon. I can't wait to see what you're going to be putting on for Artist of the Month. I'm looking forward to seeing a smorgasbord of your artwork and hearing your poetry. So thank you so much and enjoy your Artist of the Month.
Thank you very much.